Hi, and welcome. I'm Shipra Hendry. It's been quite a while since I've live streamed. I'll just do a very, very, very brief catch up. I'm broadcasting now from Florida um, after 7.5 months of pretty nomadic wandering around from place to place, in which many good things happened. It became time to settle down for a few months. Yeah, this is where I am. I the last couple days I got a few messages from people just randomly, randomly out of the blue asking where I was, if I was okay, because, they're used to hearing me and seeing me, and I haven't really been online in a public way for a while. So I decided it was time. And here's the thing, it's really hard for me to talk sometimes. It's, it's, I can't describe to you, as if there's a barrier that I really have to push through. And to push through that barrier, I have to really want to communicate something. So I'm showing up today, particularly feeling that barrier and wanting to start sharing with you anyway. So here goes. I want to talk about burning the cities down. So I was in meditation. One of the things I've been doing the last few weeks, trying to regroup and and feel more settled and get started back in reaching out. I've been spending hours every day meditating, writing, just like personal stuff. And oftentimes, when I close my eyes or write a question, I'll close my eyes and ask a question, or I'll write a question, and then I will listen deeply, and answers come. And sometimes the answers are surprising to my brain, and I write them down. And when I read them later, I start to understand what they mean. And that's where this phrase came from. So I was in meditation, and I've trained myself to ask myself, as I start meditating or connecting, where are you? And then I feel into myself. I feel what's going on. Am I agitated? Am I calm? Do I need to go deeper? Do I need to breathe? How can I connect? And in this meditation, which was last week, um, I felt like it was really important to go deeper. So I asked to be shown a deeper level of self. And what happened was really surprising to me. And I heard the words, and this happened multiple times. It wasn't just once, it happened multiple times throughout the meditation that I heard the words, burn the city down, burn the cities down. It's time to burn the cities down. Actually, I would have made the title of this live, except I didn't know if I would attract attention, like calling on people to burn cities down. So I really wondered what that meant. And I looked it up, Torah, what is the mystical Torah? What does Kabbalah say about, or Chassidus say about burning the city? What is a city? And finally, I reached out to somebody who's kind of a go-to person for me, and he said, cities are the world is made up of speech and the letters and the words, and cities is a combination of a lot of letters and words, like a paradigm. So and to burn down the cities would be to burn down negative paradigms, which so fit. So I want you to have the image of a phoenix. What is a phoenix? A phoenix is this mythical bird, which is also mentioned in various places in Torah. A humble bird. Apparently, it was a bird that was on the Ark of Noah, and didn't want to bother him for food, because it's got that humble nature. And the phoenix, the story of the phoenix is the phoenix has eternal life. The phoenix doesn't die. The phoenix burns. When it's reached the limit of its lifetime, it will burn. It catches on fire, burns down into nothing or to a very small something, and then from there expresses, is grown, is developed with a completely new life force. Same phoenix, new version, new life. So when we talk about burning the cities down, and what I'm calling upon myself to do, and what I'm sharing with whoever's going to see or hear this live stream, is it is time to look at the old paradigms. It is time to look at the old life force. It is time to stop fixing, patching up, making do, adapting, explaining away, denying, hiding from, reacting to. and more along those lines. It is time to burn down that city, burn down that old paradigm, burn down that old way of being, let it go. Doesn't mean ending, it means ending that version and starting from deep within something new. So I want to take a turn here and talk about what's happening in the world from a much more tangible or grounded physical place than I might normally do. So it's becoming very obvious that we are never going back. We're never going back to the way it was before, all that's happened in the last couple of years has happened. It's obvious that we're in a war and it's not just spiritual, that there are factions and factors that are pushing this agenda or pushing that agenda. They're not aligned with each other, and that we are in the center of it. Maybe the war is being fought over us. Who controls the consciousness of humanity, who controls the path forward, who controls the energy that we are and that we create, what we bring to the world. And I want to suggest that we each focus on becoming active players in that role, in that world, in that war, because one person really can change the world. So what's happening now, what it looks like is happening, is that there's, at least in America, and I think this is probably either happening or on the road to happening globally, there's massive inflation, and it's going to get more massive. Every financial expert that I have come to trust, that I listen to online, is saying the same thing, that the dollar is massive inflation, the dollar is going to fall. What happens when the dollar falls? The entire world is, even though some countries are moving off the dollar, the world is based around the dollar as the global reserve currency. What happens when that happens? There are supply chain shortages. Again, I'm watching from the US at this point because I've been here for several months, and I'm still here for a few months longer, at least. So they're used cars, rental cars are rare. Used cars are hard to get, and they're much more expensive. Why? Because there's supply chain shortages. There's ships with supplies that are waiting, miles outside or offshore, that are bringing supplies and aren't able to unload them. And whatever the stories are about why that's happening, I don't know what's really true, but I know that this is really true, that there are shortages and that there are interruptions in the supply chain. There are consequences of the, nobody wants to say the words and get censored, but there are consequences of the health agendas that are being pushed very aggressively by various governments and corporations. There are consequences that are being hidden, and they're not positive consequences. And many consequences already have occurred that are being hidden. People are starting to see them though. And that's just the short-term consequences. That's not the long-term consequences. So this is very concerning on an individual and a global level. And as people begin to wake up to the fact that they've been basically had, and that they've been lied to, what's going to happen? What is happening already? And I'm not coming with a concrete answer on a social or political or economic level to what is unfolding or what's going to unfold. My point, what I really want to emphasize here, is that it is not going to stay the way it is now. It's not going to go back to the way it was. We are in a path into quantum change. Now, normally I would at this point say, it's all great and it's all God and it's all redemption. Yeah, that's true, but that's not what I want to say right now. What I want to say is something is required from you and me if we want to be okay, and even better, thrive through, and even better, be influencers, leaders, and players in this quantum change. So it looks like the choice is either hang on to the past, try to resist any movement. Like I started out this live by saying, hide your head in the sand, say no, fix things, fix yourself, try to adapt, cower in fear, or you can start burning the cities down. You can be like the phoenix. And what does that mean? Be bold. Look at your every paradigm, your every belief. You can do this in a very systematic way. You can do it in writing. You can make it a practice. That is what I am doing. And it's phenomenally enlightening and transformative and effective, empowering. And it's a process. It's hard and it's challenging. And that's not a bad thing at all. Because that's what real transformation on the ground, it requires that. It's not just a lighthearted inspiration. It's deep, powerful cosmic work like the phoenix. So what is your belief? Let's just, I'm going to keep this pretty short. If you want, you can close your eyes. What is your belief? about life right now? Just ask yourself that. What do you believe about life right now? And what are your feelings about that? And if you want, you can use the line that I use. I echo, where are you? Like, look inside and feel. Do you feel your system's on high alert? Do you feel your apathetic, numb, checked out? Do you feel you're scrambling? Do you feel confused, overwhelmed? I'll be quiet for a minute. How do you feel? Where are you? Well, what do you believe? What do you believe about all of this? What do you fear about all of this? What does that bring up in you? And who do you think you're supposed to be in this? If you have any thoughts about that, you may or may not. Lots of times we don't think about that. We're just in reaction, stuck in the left brain loop. Now I want to take it just a drop deeper. Maybe it's a leap deeper. So I want to ask you the question again and try to listen in a deeper way. Where are you? Meaning not where are you, how do you feel, but where are you? Where is the deeper, more eternal, real, untapped, full of potential, cosmic level of you? Where are you? And I don't expect you to have an answer, certainly not one that comes from the way you know yourself, because that's not you, or your reactions or belief system, that's not you. Yes, it's a filter, it's a template, it's a shell, it's a mechanism through which you express and shine or don't shine. But where are you? And I want to sit here. I'll ask you again. I want to sit here with the question and have you listen. Listen deeply. What are you listening to? Whatever comes. It's possible listening is a practice that is absolutely necessary for this metamorphosis, for this phoenix rising process that we're being called on to go through, whether we like it or not. How you like it doesn't really matter. It's happening and it's going to accelerate. And the world that we are in now, we would not have ever been able to imagine or predict or believe a couple of years ago. And where we're going is far more unbelievable. And then, yeah, it's all on the path to the world of redemption, the world of heaven on earth, the world of God revealed. And part of that, and part of easing the process, and part of accelerating the process, part of upgrading the metamorphosis is to consciously burn the cities down. How do you do that? Seat your consciousness in a deeper place. Where are you? And simply listen without any expectation. Notice if you see images. Notice if you hear words. Notice if you feel resistance in your body. Don't expect it to make sense. Notice if nothing comes up or if you're fighting with it. Just notice. Where are you? And what cities, what paradigms from a deeper place, if you can get to a deeper place. And if you can't, that resistance, burn that city down. What does that mean? Sit yourself down again and ask yourself, what is keeping me from going deeper? What is the fear? What is the belief? And burn that city down. And if you are getting an answer, if you are stepping into a deeper place of yourself, if your consciousness from within that much more infinite consciousness is rising on some level, an image, a feeling, a frequency, an energy, an emotion, words, any or all of the above, or none of the above. What is in the way? What cities do you see that need to be burned down for you to feel more of this, to be more of this? Because this is your destiny. This is coming from a deeper place, a deeper part of you. This is part of the awakening that is happening, whether we like it or not, and that is going to accelerate, that is accelerating. Expect within the next even few weeks, massive things to happen. And I can't predict the spiritual. The spiritual goes along with the physical. You know, the world is like a game, like it's a game board. And you could say, in a sense, we're being treated like pawns as we're being moved around on this board. And circumstances happen, you know, as we're moved. And we want to become conscious. We want to stop being pawns and become players. But even as players, things are going to be moved on the board. Financial things, economic things, political things, medical things, social things. Truths revealed that will be very difficult to see, very difficult maybe to believe, certainly difficult to deal with. Betrayals exposed, ditto. And who are you going to be in the matter? Who are you going to allow your deeper self to be called out? What cities, what paradigms do you need to burn down in order to facilitate that awakening? Because as a pawn, you're helpless. It's going to happen anyway. You're going to get moved. Being a pawn, being unconscious, being in resistance, being fearful, staying stuck there, doing nothing about it will not save you from the process, because the game is happening and it's coming from a much bigger place than you, and it's going to be good in the end. And the end isn't that far away. But it's a deeper process, to be very honest with you. I did not expect it to get to this. I didn't expect it to come to this. I've been watching for this and waiting for this for 30 years, you know, consciously, and probably lifetimes before that. But for sure, the last 30 years since the Rebbe said that the time for our redemption has arrived. This is all about redemption. But I didn't expect human stubbornness and stuckness to be so dense, including my own. But there are people out there, let's be real, that are far more stuck and dense than any of us might be. I didn't expect it to be so deep. I didn't see how corrupted it was. I didn't see how empowered the forces of darkness have been and how brainwashed the pawns all of us have been. And I'm waking up to a lot of that now. And, you know, anything that puts me in resistance to that, that hides the God in that diminishes my power in that makes me a pawn, that keeps me a pawn, that's a city. And that needs to get burned down. So I'm going to leave you with this. Think about the phoenix and what it would be like. You know, ask yourself these questions. What it would be like. What would it be like if you could stop fixing the old and stagnant? If there's nothing wrong with the feeling of running out of life force, running out of solutions to what's happening in you or around you or in your world or in the world at large. What if you could let go of all of that and know that it's just an exoskeleton, an old version it's got to burn down. But it doesn't mean burning up. Like the burning bush, think the burning bush, where the extraneous, the external is burned, is removed, is dissolved in order for something infinitely fresh and new to arise. And that's our part of this picture. That's part of our part of this picture. And that's what I wanted to bring to you today. So broadcasting from sunny Florida. And I'd love to hear from you. I don't know what to do about the fact that when I would go on live in the past, you know, in the months ago past, there might be, you know, 20 people, 30 people listening live, and then within 100 people listening live, and then within a few hours, you know, several hundred. I don't know what's happening with Facebook. I know it's kind of universal, so I don't know what other platforms I'm going to move to. But meanwhile, if you care to see and hear more about these sorts of things, then please like the video, share the video, feel free to ask me questions, and know that we're in it together. And it's not a joke. And it's not a dream. In a sense, it is a dream, but not in a human sense, in a cosmic sense. We'll see that later on. Right now, we need to play full out. Right now, we need to be warriors or get trampled. That's about it. Okay, here to help. Sending lots of love. Talk to you soon.